Backstage before the keynote, everything feels compressed. Schedules tighten. Assistants whisper. Screens glow. A composed man waits near the stage, jacket buttoned, posture relaxed, presence unnoticed by anyone rushing past. An intern storms in with loud confidence, scanning badges instead of faces. He gestures sharply and calls the man the driver, asking him to move aside. A few people smile reflexively. Others look away. No correction comes. The man does not respond. He studies reactions instead. Who laughs too fast? Who freezes? Who suddenly understands something is wrong? Lights begin to dim. The audience settles. Programs are raised. Applause prepares itself. No one yet realizes the person dismissed moments ago is the reason this room exists tonight. Silence was not hesitation. It was choice. At this stage of life, reactions are filtered through experience, not impulse. The man had learned long ago that value never improves when defended emotionally. He watched the moment unfold with calm precision. Disrespect often reveals more about the speaker than the target. Interrupting that process would have stolen its meaning. Years of leadership had taught him when to speak and when to let others continue freely. People are most honest when they believe no consequence is attached to their words. Standing there, he allowed the moment to complete itself. No correction, no explanation, just observation. Silence was not surrender. It was discipline earned through mistakes, restraint, and understanding that authority arrives strongest when it arrives unannounced. The intern moved fast, fueled by urgency and attention. He believed proximity to important people made him important by default. His voice carried farther than his experience, and he enjoyed the space it occupied. He issued instructions without hesitation, dropping names he barely knew, laughing too loudly at private jokes. Confidence felt like armor. Visibility felt like protection. He assumed authority traveled through access, not accountability. He mistook motion for progress and presence for relevance. Around him, subtle shifts occurred. Conversations shortened. Smiles tightened. Several faces quietly reassessed what they were witnessing. The intern never noticed. He was performing for an audience that had already stopped applauding internally. Power had not left the room. It had simply stopped acknowledging him. The audience settled into attentive silence as the host stepped forward. Lights focused. Screens brightened. The room prepared for expertise, not spectacle. The keynote speaker was introduced carefully, name followed by credentials, experience, and results. The man previously ignored stood up smoothly and walked toward the stage without urgency. Recognition rippled instantly. Conversations died mid-breath. Faces shifted from confusion to embarrassment. The intern turned pale as understanding arrived all at once. No one laughed. No one whispered. The silence carried weight and respect, not shock. The speaker adjusted the microphone calmly. He did not scan the room. He did not search for reactions. Authority had already spoken before his first word was delivered. There was no confrontation and no announcement. The keynote continued seamlessly, measured and composed, while the incident faded from public view. During the break, a quiet instruction was given without emotion or explanation. Security responded with the same professionalism expected in rooms like this. The intern was approached discreetly. A brief exchange followed. No raised voices. No visible resistance. He was guided toward the exit as conversations resumed around him. No one watched. No one recorded. The room did not pause. At this level, consequences do not arrive as punishment. They arrive as closure. Mistakes are not debated publicly. They are resolved efficiently and without ceremony. The event continued, intact and undisturbed. The atmosphere shifted subtly after the removal. Conversations resumed slower, measured by awareness rather than excitement. People avoided eye contact without discussing why. The intern's supervisor understood immediately. No explanation was requested. None was needed. Silence carried the full context. No one defended the mistake. No one challenged the outcome. Professional environments remember patterns longer than apologies. This was not a dramatic ending. It was quieter than that. Careers at this level do not collapse publicly. They stall, reposition, and slowly disappear from relevant conversations. The absence lingered more than the incident itself. Everyone returned to their roles with adjusted clarity. The room moved forward, but something important had been permanently recalibrated. The keynote unfolded with precision and calm authority. Ideas were presented clearly, supported by experience rather than volume. The room leaned in, listening with renewed focus. There was no reference to earlier events. None was required. The message stood on its own merit, shaped by years of decisions and accountability. Every point landed differently now. The audience understood they were hearing from someone who did not need to dominate to lead. Questions followed thoughtfully. Engagement deepened. Respect settled naturally across the room. Leadership was demonstrated through clarity, not correction. Presence replaced performance. By the final slide, the incident no longer mattered. What remained was credibility restored and reinforced without effort. The room responded with applause that carried genuine recognition. This was never a story about arrogance. It was a story about discernment. Experience teaches that not every moment requires response. At this stage of life, power does not rush to correct disrespect. It observes patiently and decides deliberately. People reveal themselves most clearly when they believe status protects them. Those who confuse appearance with value eventually expose the limits of their understanding. The process rarely needs interference. True authority does not embarrass. It resolves. It allows consequences to unfold without noise or spectacle. The lesson is quiet but permanent. Knowing your worth removes the need to prove it. Restraint becomes strength. Silence becomes strategy. And respect, once established without force, lasts longer than any explanation ever could.